What if I told you there was a way in Lord of the Rings Rise to War to control the order in which your skills activated? And as it turns out on some commanders, this matters a lot. So whether you're evil or good, this video is going to level up your game. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and if you like Lord of the Rings Rise to War videos, consider subscribing for daily videos designed to help you get value and smash your enemies. And courtesy of my Alliance members, I learned a very crucial tip, absolutely game-changing tip for how to control the order in which your skills activate in Lord of the Rings Rise to War. And this is very straightforward, but the order in which you put your talent points in determines the order in which they happen in your battle log. So when you have two skills, like for example on Éomer, Marshal of the Mark, which happens every 2 rounds, or at least 2-round warm-up period, and Cleave, which has a 2-round warm-up period, if you wanted to control the order in which those happened, you would invest in the skill first that you want to happen first. Now you may think, Chisgule, why is this such a big deal? I'll tell you exactly why this is a big deal. Because, for example, on Éomer, and there are many commanders where this is the case, by the way, on Éomer, he has an ability that gives you speed stat. Marshal of the Mark gives 100 speed. And there are abilities that are boosted by speed stat. So if you order them such that you get your buff, then do the ability that takes advantage of having the buff, you get more value with your commander straight up at no additional cost to you. See what I mean? So by doing Marshal of the Mark first, literally don't put points anywhere else. Put them first into Marshal of the Mark, then later put them into Cleave. That'll make it so that Marshal of the Mark happens before Cleave, and you will get the extra speed when your Cleave goes off, which means you will just do more damage simply by virtue of putting your points in the right order. And you may think, okay, dude, like nobody uses Éomer anyways. Everybody's using Theodred, and you're a noob for picking him. I get it. I hear you. But what about a commander you probably are using? Like, maybe you're using Arwen on the side of good, right? She's got an ability that removes a debuff. Well, if you put your point in the ability that removes the debuff first, then put your points into other abilities like healing abilities, there is a possibility that you will clear off things that would have hindered your ability to heal, and then you can land the full heal later with Elven Blessing, for example. So that's one more place where if you pick the right ability in the right order, both of these happen every 2 rounds of the warm-up period, and then on the 3rd round they fire off. So yes, this matters for Arwen, but Arwen is not the only one. As it turns out, you could get a look at a commander like Dwalin, and if we go allocate his points, he also has a heal, relief, and then an ability that removes a debuff. Put your point first into level-headed, then put points into relief. The order in which you deploy the points to unlock the skill will determine the order in which they happen in the battle log. And if you're like, Chisgule, can you just show this to me? I don't have a picture of when I had Éomer working backwards, opposite literally of the way that I needed him to work. Scroll on down, turn 3. Marshal of the Mark. First thing that happens. Second thing that happens, boom, Éomer activates Cleave. I got the speed boost for my Cleave ability. There it is, in plain sight. Now, what is interesting here is that I thought that in each round, you did your normal attack before you used any of your other abilities. But if I just get a look here, that doesn't seem like that's the case. It looks like your abilities happen before you end up doing your normal attack. I could be wrong on this, and this is definitely relevant, but you can see Éomer attacks is the 3rd thing that happens. I did swing, attack the vitals, and then my normal attack. If I just go to turn 1, well, all I have is a normal attack at that point. Well, this is maybe a point for additional discovery, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because if we look at a commander like, say, Gimli. Gimli is very strong and popular. Also, Dwalin has the same thing. Also, I think Ori does as well. But if I just go to his points here, Durin's Blood, cool, unlocks All In, which reduces the next damage dealt. Aha, you see where this is going, right? So the last skill you want to choose, if you are picking all in on Gimli, is going to be all in, because it's going to reduce your next damage. Well, you don't want your next damage to be something that does lots of damage, like a whirlwind, right? And I don't know exactly how the timing works out here, but presumably these would eventually line up on the same turn, or some of these other abilities would line up in a way that would be unfavorable to be reducing your big damage ability by a whole heck of a lot from all in. So if you pick all in last, then it will be the last thing that you use, and hopefully on your next turn, if all you did was a normal attack, then you're good to go. Or if normal attacks happen before your other types of attacks, I don't know, I'd have to find like a really good battle to go prove that, you know, how that works. Okay, here's a report where we've got a Dwalin, and he's got a ton of these abilities, and we'll see if Shockwave has them in the right order. And I'm not picking on you, I was just sort of going through the list of shared reports that we've got. Now, Shockwave is using, what has he got here? He's got Durin's Blood, he's got Whirlwind, he does not have All In, and he's got Collaboration. So he's got a normal attack build. That's actually very interesting. So this build isn't going to be able to showcase exactly what I wanted to showcase, but it will give us a look here at when the normal attacks happen. So it's still worth getting a look very quickly at this report together. We look on turn 1, Khaldun is doing stuff. Okay, Dwalin does his attack, and then he gets Collaboration. It's important that these are separated out, because I think that All In would make it so that the normal attack would be diminished, but not the Collaboration portion of damage, which I don't know exactly how that works. Maybe that's how it is, or maybe it isn't. Dwalin attacks and has Collaboration. Moving on to when he's going to use one of his abilities here. There's Whirlwind. So it does look like your normal attack happens last. But not all commanders do things that debuff yourself, and maybe you're not as worried about that. Even just getting the buffing portion of abilities or the cleansing portion of abilities in the right order is freaking crucial. So this is probably one of the very best tips that I could offer you in Lord of the Rings Rise to War at this moment in time. Honestly, I hope that you find it helpful, and if you did, throw a like on here and consider subscribing. Controlling the sequence of your commander's abilities is really powerful. And although you can't actually change or reduce the speed with which these different abilities activate, changing the order in which they activate in a turn is a big deal. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Oh, and P.S. if you're looking for just some entertainment in Lord of the Rings Rise to War, check out the playlist. Card will be up in the top for all of the times I've opened up Matham Metals. And you can just kick back, play the playlist, and eat some popcorn.